This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Icon Podcast. I am your host, as always, Gianna, and today we have the opportunity of talking to Doug Juenke. Okay, I've been practicing that last name as the introduction went on because it doesn't look how it's pronounced, okay?
No, it does not.
I was sitting backstage like Doug Juenke, like Yankee. We got it.
Yep.
Doug, thank you for your time today.
No problem. Glad to be here.
Of course. So take us back to the beginning. Who are you? Where are you from? How did you grow up to be a real estate agent?
I saw an ad in the newspaper, if I must be honest. Before I moved to Reading, I lived in Europe. I was playing professional baseball around the world and played 12 seasons, a couple in Canada, a couple in Australia, and 6 in Europe. And when I retired, I think that's what they call it when you're just too old to play anymore, moved to Redding, California, and had 3 part-time jobs making the official part-time or wage at that point, which I think was $3.50 an hour. And I saw an ad in the paper that said, get your real estate license. So I went, spent 30 minutes of the hour presentation and left and said, there's no way I can become a real estate agent because it doesn't pay. There's no benefits. There's no health insurance. There's no vacation. I'm not going to become a real estate agent. I went back to my 3 jobs and I decided I should give real estate a try. That was in March of 1998. And here we are in August of 2022. And
you said March 1998?
Yeah.
That's when I was born.
There you go. What a great year. And so I didn't know anybody. This is not my hometown. I moved to Reading just because I thought it was a cool place. I'd driven through it a number of times growing up. And here we are on this podcast. I've closed over 1,000 escrows myself, not taking credit for a team or my office. And I'm having this interview with you. So there's my journey and how I got here.
Awesome.
In the shortest form I can make it.
No, we're on a podcast to talk, yeah. Doug. So don't feel like you got to cut yourself short here.
Well, then let me tell you how great I was. Just a bit. No.
It all started when I was born. No.
Yes, exactly.
Well, Doug, how were you introduced to EXP then as your brokerage? Because obviously it wasn't around in 98 and It wasn't your first brokerage. So what's your story there? How did you make this transition?
Well, it comes from a tale of tragedy to triumph, I guess. I went to work for a company called For Sale by Owner, which offered a quote unquote reduced commission program and actually offered 3 different programs. And when I first came to Reading, it was a very unliked, maybe even outright hated company. And over the course of a couple of years working there, I became one of the top producers for the entire county, and I am just who I am. And we began to get accepted. I was offered the company in 2004, and I bought it and became a broker in 2006. Did the Craig Proctor thing, tried to make a team, tried to do this, spent a lot of money, and then the old demic hit in March of 20, and my wife said, we have X amount of money on the bank account. I need to write a check for this much next week. And I said, we're closing the shop. So there's the tragedy is my 16 years of effort and stress and recruiting and training and role play and taking agents from low production. And I mean, one lady had done 3 escrows in her previous 24 months and 24 months with me, did 33. But the shamdemic hit, and we had to close our shop.
Shamdemic.
And we closed our shop. And a buddy of mine had been beating on me for about 2 years about this company, EXP. So I finally gave Frank a call and said, okay, Frank, tell me about EXP. Because, I had my own company. I didn't need to go to work for somebody and start paying another broker
the
money I was getting.
Why would you?
Yeah, exactly. And so I got to talk to Brent Gove a number of times and to Frank, and it was it was a difficult period because I had to admit defeat or failure in my own company. But, Frank and Brent worked through and what are the positives and all this, that, and the other. And so on May 1st of 2020, I officially became an EXP agent, and it has been a great transition for me. It's worked out very well.
That's awesome, Doug. Well, congrats on that, and good for you for being like, all right, let's waive this risk. Let's do this. I guess cap's back on the table for us, but guess what? You can earn that cap back. So that's pretty exciting. Great for any business owner and far less risk. Okay. And then, Doug, moving on from that, now that you're over here at EXP, what's your favorite part about it? What have you really learned to enjoy or take advantage of since moving here?
Well, before our show, I told you you're going to be disappointed in my answers. I'm about to disappoint you.
Most men do, Doug. I can't lie to you.
I know. I'm sorry. I just fall right into that. No, so it's funny is we ran different programs at my old company. And one of the things I like about, at least in California, is we don't have a set, you must charge X, you must do this. It was just do the right thing. If you have any questions, reach out to the brokers. And because I was a broker myself with my office and oversaw about 700 escrows as a broker, I'm pretty well versed on how to stay out of trouble. So I didn't have to worry about going to the broker a lot, asking a lot of questions. Mm-hmm. And basically, I just transferred my practices from my previous company over to EXP and, just did what I do. And I know that I have support, but one of the trade-offs, and here's the disappointment, I was kind of making you wait for it, is last year me and my TC, I did 52 escrows by myself. And that means bad appraisals, bad septics, bad wells, disclosure, inspections. I didn't have a lot of extra time, and therefore I have not been able to use EXP to its full potential because you got to get into the world, and then you got to kind of click around, and then you can go to Icon and you can do this. By the end of the day, my brain is absolutely fried, because one of the things it's a downside, and I think it's my secret to success is I have always felt that I give exceptional customer service, and my clients, I make sure that they're paying me to do a job, and I do that job very well, and my success is based on that. But it doesn't leave a lot of time for me to go, self educate, take advantage of the EXP stuff. And there is so much in there that I just wish I had more time to take advantage of. Disappointment number one, we're going to count them.
No, I think you see why you're a disappointment there. And Doug, I think you're going to work on yourself in that aspect because you said, I haven't been able to take advantage of it yet. That was a special word.
There you go.
Not so disappointing. I feel like I'm your therapist.
Well, what's funny is when I had the Craig Proctor system, I bought, we did it for 3 years and it cost a couple dollars. And in the Proctor system, there's library upon library upon library upon library. You would take you half a lifetime to try to work through all the libraries. And I find that EXP is kind of similar in that you have so much to offer. It's trying to find what's going to be the best one for you is the hard part, but it's amazing what they offer. I mean, that's the cool part. They have so much to offer. You just got to try to figure out what it is that you're going to use.
A self-starter. Yes. You got to get in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, Doug, before we dive into more things about being an Icon agent, let's talk Doug Juenke, right? Who are you? Where do you draw the line between work and play? How do you manage to balance yourself and a business and family and friends without experiencing burnout?
Disappointment number 2.
I'm ending this broadcast. We're done.
Yeah, stop it right now. You know what? I don't do a great job of that. A little background. So I've been doing this, obviously, it's my 25th year. And like I told you, I've done over 1,000. And especially the last 2 years in particular, we couldn't really go anywhere, couldn't really do anything. I wasn't a big masker, just being blunt. And my wife is Dutch, and we can't fly to Europe because you got to have shots and vax and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And so we've been really kind of limited on what we can do. So my work life balance has been a little out of whack. What I used to do a lot is I was a driving coach at racetracks. So I used to help people go really fast in their Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and everything else. And some days I got paid $1,500 a day just to sit in the right seat and teach people how to go extremely fast in their supercars. That I've kind of turned back a little because as you get older, you realize that doing 150 miles an hour with a stranger at the wheel gets a little interesting, but I've been able to ride in a lot of the most exclusive cars on the face of the planet. So that's been pretty cool. But my work-life balance has been a little out of balance just because my TC and I have these conversations about, she's getting ready to go on vacation to the Grand Canyon and she's all excited. And I'm trying to figure out what do I want to do? And I don't know right now. That's the problem. I've been all over the Western US. I've lived around the world. So I'm having a bit of a challenge.
Should you get like a sailboat and go live on the ocean for a couple of days, weeks? Did I lose you?
No, why it would lose. There you go. Are you there?
Okay, now we got you back.
I have no idea. I haven't moved. So no, a sailboat, I would probably get seasick. So there you go.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that's out. That's yet another disappointment. Thanks, Jug.
That's number 3.
Well, we'll just move on then.
Yeah, let's turn to the positive.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, Doug. And it seems like you've accomplished a lot in life. So now you're just kind of like, well, what do now? Which is great. It's a fun chapter of your life, I'm sure.
Well, when the demic hit and we had to close the shop, I had to file bankruptcy. So at 55, my life plan took a hard left. I did not see that coming. I had when I started in the business 20 years ago, plus I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna own 10 doors. I'm gonna be great at 57. And at 57, I'm pretty much starting from scratch. So that's where life finds me on this meeting today, starting from scratch.
Yes, that's all. No, I totally. It makes sense, and that's okay. And it's fun that you're over at EXP, and there's a new opportunity, and we're rebuilding. So, and you're iconing 2 years in a row now. You said, right?
Correct.
Okay, awesome. So, Doug, in your market, you're out in California. What does that average housing price look like to you, and how many do you have to sell to be able to cap?
Well, I would say in my location, we're in far Northern California, and in far Northern California, I mean, it's funny is people are not terribly intelligent and they think San Francisco or Sacramento is Northern California. Newsflash, there's another 3.5 hours north of Sacramento, and we live up near the Oregon border with a town of about 100,000 people. And I think if I had to do averages, I would say our median price is somewhere in the upper threes, like 375, 350, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. I believe I have to sell somewhere around 20 units to cap out. Might even be a little bit less, but depends, of course, on the sell. But I think 370 at about 20 would get me to the cap. And then you have to do, I think, another 10 or 15 to get to icon status. So, we live in relative to California, an affordable area of California, which for us has gotten to be very unaffordable at $350 for a basic home. I mean, this last 2 years, we saw houses that used to sell for $240. They're now selling for $350. I mean, literally in 2 years. So,
yeah, I know. Tell me about it. I just bought a soggy cardboard box in Nashville for $350. So, I know, Doug. I know.
That sounds lovely. Make sure to put that on your invite.
Yeah. I'm going to need some roommates here coming up. My dog is just not pulling his half around that place.
I'm telling you, you got to earn money off that thing. Figure it out.
I will. I'm going to figure that out. But anyway, Doug, so my next question is going to be, what's your cultural commitment when it comes to being an icon agent? Are you a mentor? Do you teach?
Disappointment number 4. I'm living up to the typical man stereotype. So how's that?
Yep,
so no,
you're right.
What happened what happened is after doing the broker thing for 16 years and investing in, I read all the success books, invest in your people, invest in this, do this, make them successful. I put in an immense amount of blood and treasure into my office, and losing it was a big psychological kick in the pants. And so when I won the Icon Award, and actually my first year in EXP, I was more focused on just trying to rebuild me, because that was really broken. And so I had a TC. I had an agent that came with me from the old office, and she's morphed into my buyer's agent and my TC. But I spent the first year really just trying to get back to enjoying real estate and getting back into doing it. Plus, my bank account was zero, so I had to really start building that up. Then I won the Icon Award last year. And, the Icon had 3 choices. You had to be a mentor. You had to do this. You had to do that. And to be honest with you, mentally, I wasn't prepared. And I didn't care enough for other people at that point, because I invested so much for 16 years that I didn't do anything the last 12 months regarding the Icon mentorship. It was funny, as I was going to sign up to be a mentor, and they said, we have to take on 3 agents. You have to make a commitment. I said, I just did 16 years of that, and it didn't end well. I'm going to hang tight for a little bit. So fast forward to this meeting. I make Icon again, and I know they've added some new cultural things that we can do. And I just haven't looked into them as much as I need to yet. So I'm going to work hard on that this year. Well, and it's true. What happened last year is I signed up to be one of those moderators or whatever on one of the podcasts they were doing. And I was like 5th or 6th extra. So they only need like 5. I signed up on the list, never heard a word. And like the day before the thing, I get an email. Hey, Doug, we're looking forward to having you on the thing tomorrow. I'm like, what in the world are you referring to? Well, you're on I said, you guys never confirmed. You never let me know. You didn't give any heads up. I've got plans. I can't be there. So this year I'm hoping that I can maybe redirect, because, between my production and being a broker, I have learned a couple things, and I would love to share it with other agents. Absolutely.
Awesome. And Doug, so you were just able to omit that cultural commitment part, but you lost out on, what is that, $8,000?
$8,000. Yeah. $8,000.
Okay.
Yeah,
something we don't want to miss out on this year.
Well, no, exactly. And so I am going to EXP Con. So I'm going there in Vegas. So that's $2,000. And then you've got the $4,000 cultural commitment. And I think you have to go to Dallas for the other $2,000. And I'm not sure schedule wise that's working out. We live on a horse sanctuary up here in Shingletown that's 4,000 acres with 200 horses. So cool. We've got to make, yeah. So we don't own it, let's be clear, but we rent and live on it. And so in the weekends and stuff, we have to feed all the horses and maintain the stuff. So breaking away can be sometimes a bit challenging. But yeah, the 4,000 I'm really looking forward to trying to do, because then I would maybe get 14,000 of my 16,000 cap back, and that would be pretty damn cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's cool, Doug. And then my next question is going to be, what's your favorite benefit of being an Icon agent? Because you've got to hustle on it. You got to commit. You're good at your job, you said. So this business comes to you pretty naturally. But what do you enjoy most about it? Is it getting that cap back in stock? Is it a trophy? Is it just the little pins they give you at EXP Con and shareholders?
Well, if I have to break it down to one thing, because you asked for one thing, the stock is really cool. And it's funny, as I looked at it this year, is last year, $8,000 in stock, I think bought, when I got it awarded, 193 shares. Okay, cool. I didn't pay for them. Technically, I earned them. I got them. Okay. This year, because like the stock market, EXP's stock is not where it was last year, I got like 400 and something shares. So it was really cool, because those shares, I think we maxed out at $53 or $54 a share last year. I mean, that's a lot of upside potential. When you get 400 shares that could go up to 50 or 100 or whatever the future holds, that $8,000 becomes a gigantic positive. I mean, and I can't think of any
who doesn't
other
want a broker that pays them, right?
Exactly. And, and then on top of that, I've actually opted in, and I recommend whoever listens to this, sign up, get off this damn thing and sign up for the 5% automatic buy-in. between the award and what I've been buying with every escrow, I've got a couple thousand shares of EXP stock in just 2 years. And I didn't even know I was missing the money because it's automatically taken out of every commission. So if you're listening, whether you're Icon or not, sign up for the 5% because it adds up very quickly. Very quickly.
Doug, that's something that you like about EXP that maybe you didn't expect. That would have been a good answer earlier. So you're not, we'll take a tally off the disappointment.
Okay, I'm down to 3.
Okay.
Well, there we go. Let's check it off.
That would have been a good one. So we'll give you credit for that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So Doug, tell me a little more about what it looks like to Icon at EXP, right? So I'm either a rookie real estate agent or maybe I'm just new to EXP and I'm coming to you and I'm like, Doug, I'd really like to Icon in my first year here. I know it's a tough goal. So what are some daily tasks I should set out on to get there, or major mistakes to avoid? And is it even possible?
I'm back to disappointment number 4. But hear me out.
We're done.
Hear me out. I recently did a presentation to about 100 EXP and non-EXP agents down in Sacramento at Brent Gove's request. And I started off my 20-minute presentation to this group of strangers, and I called them pretty much losers. Now, hear me out. When I started back in the day, I read an article, and it's one of those things, you just read an article and you don't realize the impact it has on your life. But then later on, you look back and you go, that was the impact. And one of the things that it said back in 1998, and this was when we used to read print, so going old school, is that back then, 90% of agents do not stay in touch with their clients after the close of escrow. Okay. I said I wanted to be in that 10%. Okay. Fast forward to 2022, because I gave the presentation earlier this year to Brent Gove and his crew. And according to NAR, the statistic, believe it or not, is now 91% of agents close an escrow and they don't stay in touch with their clients. Mm-hmm. What sets me apart, so when you ask about what can I tell a new agent, I struggle at that only because I got in the business and within 18 months, I closed 60 escrows. I don't know why. It just
happened.
I can't explain it. It happened. But I still, to this day, 25 years later, every 3 months, they get a letter that I write, 1 page, pertaining to new laws, new rules, interest rates. It's the market hot. I have written a letter every 3 months for 25 years. And my mailing went out 3 weeks ago to 450 clients, because some people have been multiple buyers, whatever, and that has been my big continued success. Is the old rule of thumb is 90% of your business comes from repeat and referral. Well, if you don't stay in touch with your clients, you don't get that opportunity. Right. I, on the other hand, have made that my absolute exclusive golden rule number 1. Stay in touch with them. And I tend to be very self-depreciating, so I always throw in some kind of line how stupid I am. But that's me after 25 years. What do I tell a new agent? Because I don't use, here you go, disappointment number 5. I don't use any social media. I don't use Facebook. I don't use LinkedIn, TikTok. I don't use any of that for reasons I won't go into. And so when a new agent is asking, what do I do? Well, first off, show up. Mm-hmm. Come, these days we think we can work from home. And I think in this business, that is really a bad idea. I'm not aware of any local agents that actually produce who work from home. Everybody goes to an office. They surround themselves with people who they can go ask questions. And when I was a new agent, I would ask competing agents, what the heck do I do to be a new agent? And I found that a lot of people were very open to say, oh, well, do this, sit open houses, do this, make cold calls, walk and door knock. I didn't do any of those things. I just had a lot of Saturday and Sundays at our office and got the peripheral business. In today's world, I think we can do it on our own. And so you ask, what would I tell a new agent who wants to get to Icon? Try to find somebody either directly in your office or through the system that produces, and ask them what they're doing. My whole thing is I just stay in touch with my clients. My advertising budget per month, I pay for one website $260 I think I've got a Zillow account for one zip code for $60 a month. And then I do 4 mailings a year. That's my advertising budget to do 52
Okay.
escrows. So I know that in today's world, a lot of it is about social media. You're supposed to have blogs and podcasts and explain how intelligent you are. I don't do any of that.
Fair enough, Doug. I see it and I get that. And it's cool that your business model still works with it in your sphere of influence. And Doug, were you ever skeptical of EXP when it was first introduced to you?
Back then, the onboarding process was a gigantic pain in the keister. It took me a couple of days to get on. And then what was really weird, quite honestly, was the avatar world.
Yeah.
You had to go make an avatar, then you had to sign in the world, and I can't tell you. Now, this is the funny thing, and I'm sure everybody listening has had this. I cannot tell you how many times I've ended up in somebody else's meeting because I don't control my avatar. I push a button, boom, I'm in a meeting, and the people start, "What, can I help you?" I'm like, "I don't know how to get out. How do you back out? I'm stuck. I'm stuck in avatar world. How do I get out?" And so that was kind of the weird thing, is I didn't know how to control the avatar. But now that I've kind of used it a little bit, I don't use it a lot, but I used it. At least I don't go into unexpected meetings where brokers are meeting and having heavy discussions with another agent. So that was kind of interesting. But once I got onboarded and figured that out, and then kind of started looking at the protocols and what was available, I haven't been disappointed working with EXP since I joined, to be honest with you. It's been a really good, from owning my own business to making this transition has been really good.
And I'll tell you guys who are listening, a lot of the excuses I get, "Oh, I don't want to come over to EXP. I'm not tech savvy." Doug told me the same thing at the beginning of this call. "Gianna, I'm not tech savvy," but he was able to figure it out. He may have wound up in a few wrong meetings in EXP world, but he's killing it otherwise. Easy, simple mistakes, right? Very forgivable, easy mistakes. It's not like he can't do business and figure the rest out. So just wanted to highlight
the funny thing
that.
is, you get a bit of a humor going, because in the number of times, and it's probably numbered about 5 to 7, where I've ended up in the wrong meeting, they go, "Can we help you?" And I'm like, "I'm lost. I don't know where." They start to laugh. So it's kind of funny, as by my stupidity, I created a funny moment. How's that?
Right. Everybody gets it. We love that.
Yeah.
You've got me laughing, Doug. If you roll up into one of my meetings at an EXP world, I'm going to be like, "You know what? Damn it, Doug, have a seat. You're in this now."
So that was the weirdest part. But I mean, again, you said it, and I said it even more bluntly. I'm a tech dummy. I mean, I'm glad my phone doesn't set on fire every time I touch it, and I figured it out. So if you have any possibilities at all, it's going to be real easy.
We got to remember to turn that off of do not disturb when we're done, Doug.
Yes.
So Doug, my last question is going to be is, for those that are skeptical of EXP, but they see the greener grass, they're thinking about coming over, what's some advice for them to make the move and take the risk, and that it would be well worth it for them?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I mean, agents, historically, traditionally, I dealt with when I was a broker, they always look at their bottom line. It's always about how much money am I going to make? Well, the idea that you're an 80-20 to start, that's pretty good. I mean, in the olden days, it was, 50-50, 60-40, and you had to be a smoking good agent to go to a broker and have the huevos and say, "Hey, give me 80-20. Now you have a company that says 80-20 to start. And if you can produce, not only will you go to 100% pretty quickly, but if you achieve a certain level, you're going to get 100, you can have the chance to get 100% of your cap back. I mean, you literally, if you do this right and you produce, you can be at 100% on January 1st, but it's 100% with profit, because you're going to be able to get that 16,000 back in shares. And as the value goes up, that 16,000 could turn into 30,000, could turn into 45,000, could turn into 50,000. I'm not aware of any other model at all in existence. And I think that's one of the things that spoke highly to me, is starting out at my age, I had to really dig deep to find retirement. And if the stock, for argument's sake, went back up to $50 per share, In 2 years, I will have amassed $120,000 worth of stock.
Oh my gosh.
That's my point. I have like 2,700 shares in 2 years. And if you're worried about your money, there's the money part of it. And then on the thing that probably is bigger is the collaboration. I've heard it on some of these podcasts. We compete with a lot of people in this business. Everybody has their secrets. Everybody has their little website. Everybody has their little trick. The cool thing about EXP is you can go into the world and you can go and get trained. You can go and hook up with fellow agents that may not be in your market. So they're not, I mean, like here in Reading, we've got about 100 EXP out of 780 agents. So we have actually a decent saturation here. But when you're at EXP, I can go talk to agents from Sacramento, Nashville. What do you
Italy?
What do you find successful? And that collaboration is something that is almost unheard of in any other company. So not only the financial, that part I think is really cool.
Absolutely. That's awesome. There are so many benefits of coming over to EXP. So definitely make sure to get connected with good old Doug Juenke, even though he's disappointed. He's let us down a couple times.
I have 4 times. We can
nice guy. He's a nice guy. And
I'll make you laugh.
He's funny sometimes. So he'll be able to answer some of your questions, hopefully, about EXP. And if anything, at least he could maybe try to tell you what meetings to pop into to find out. No, but if you are looking at making that move to EXP and maybe you feel like you're technologically, not advanced, or you don't want to use social media, or there's some other things with Doug that you align with, just know it's possible. And it's a great reason and purpose to reach out to Doug and get connected and make that move over to EXP. And then pretty soon you'll be an icon talking to me on my podcast, and we could talk just about all the letdowns Doug has lined up for us.
And if you're in the world and a blonde-haired guy shows up in your meeting unexpectedly, I am so sorry.
Make sure to say, Juenke, get out of here.
There you go.
Yeah, but not today. Well, Doug, if you do get to break away to Vegas, please let me know. I would love to meet you.
I'm going to be there. I've already bought my tickets.
Oh, you are? Okay,
I'm
cool.
going.
Oh, well, then never mind. Well, Doug, awesome. I can't wait to see you in Vegas. Let's make sure to meet up. And other than that, we'll be in touch.
Cool. Well, thank you for letting me be on the show today. It's been fun.
Thank you, Doug. We'll talk to you soon, okay?
All righty.
Bye.
This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success, and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.